How's it going? I'm Paul Rivera.
And Damian Barbusica.
And we're here to bring you an amazing experience. We're driving Lamborghini Diablo in Los Angeles Crest, one of the most famous canyons in the world, I guess. We drive up to Newcomb's Ranch, and funny enough, we ran into Jay Leno driving a Porsche Carrera GT.
Freaking super badass in its own right. It was totally amazing to see that car. I forgot how freaking awesome that thing is.
It's ridiculous, and I thought we had the radical car driving a 1991 your Lamborghini Diablo, which has been slightly tuned, slightly modified. Anyways, we just want to share this experience, and we're going to try to bring you in the car with us. So enjoy. Wow, we are in a freaking Lamborghini Diablo, a 1991, almost 500 horsepower V12 with 48 valves of monster insane Italian power. Now this car does not have cats, but that's okay. This is for professional road use, off-road use only.
Yes, first of all, we're in Mexico, right?
Right. Right.
Always filming in Mexico off-road.
Yes. So, and also, Damian, didn't you tune this engine?
We did. So it got tuned a little bit. Just a little bit of timing, a little bit of fuel.
This is a 5.7 liter engine, right?
Yeah, 5.7.
Okay.
It said dual overhead cam, the whole...
5.7, and then stock was around 485 horsepower?
492 was stock.
Stock, even 1991?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're probably pushing over 5 with the exhaust and the tuning.
Yeah.
520.
Yeah, I would say so, realistically.
Okay. And this car, it's a 1991. We're talking 30 years old.
Yes, it's 30 years old, and I got to say, it's still a a neck breaker.
It really is. I just drove it up here briefly while we were doing some drone footage, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But I didn't haul ass yet because we're doing the drone footage, but we will soon. But anyways, why don't we give the audience like a little taste of what it's like driving this thing?
Yeah, just listen. Just listen to this beast. It's...
By the way, this car is called Diablo. Don't you understand with that sound why it's called Diablo?
It's not...
The devil has awoken. This is a devil I'll gladly follow.
It's not ironic. It's dead on. They were just like, yes.
What else would it be called?
Right.
The Diablo. Amazing that it was so scary that even born where the Vatican is, they still said, okay, we got to call it Diablo.
That's a good point.
Right?
That's a super good point.
With all the Catholics running around, you think that's taboo, but it like surpassed that.
No, they're like, yeah, that's right. You got this.
Okay. Maybe it was the Pope that told them that. No, it's scary. It's the Diablo. They just went with it. RPM to like 3,200.
Look, if this doesn't make you feel alive, you're not alive.
You're not alive.
It's over.
I feel so alive.
it's instant adrenaline. And the gears are so long and flowing, you know?
What are you in? You're in third gear. So
I'm
this
in
is
third
a dog
gear.
leg transmission, which means 1, then over, and then 2 and 3.
Yes.
5-speed, gated.
I could be in second, but it's going to be a much more aggressive ride.
Right, but you're in third, and you have all the torque to go around any turn.
All the torque I need.
You don't really need to do a lot of shifting.
No, I would say second, third is it. I mean, third will bring you to probably 120 if you wind it out.
Okay.
So
120.
That's enough to break every law.
So when do you see fifth? Is this car still relevant? I mean, how does it make you feel?
Well, I would say it feels perfectly relevant, even 30 years old. I cut my teeth working on this car when I was pretty young.
Was it challenging?
You know, I wouldn't say so because, especially the early cars were more basic. There's no ABS. There's not a lot of computers to it, so it feels really like it's got that old Mustang hot rod kind of vibe to the way it was built.
Sure. There's not much to the car. It's just gauges, manual, and it's all engine.
Yeah, no traction control, none of that. It's just you and Jesus out here.
No power steering.
No power steering.
No ABS brakes.
No.
How does the steering feel right now, though, while I go through the canyons? Nice.
It's fantastic. I mean, other than parallel parking, the lack of power steering doesn't bother me at all.
Right. It gives you more feedback?
So much road feel. And I gotta tell you, 1 hour through the canyons on this, and you feel like a man.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you're worn out.
Your biceps, you're all pumped up. I mean, you gotta hold on to the steering wheel.
So, you can either go to the gym or jump into Diablo and go for a canyon run.
Yeah.
That sounds more fun to me.
I think you know. Oh, it's so...
Listen to that.
It's such a pleasant drive, too. It is a true GT car.
Holy cow. Oh my God.
Woo.
Wow, we weren't even, did you just hit 4,000 RPM? Not even 4,000 RPM.
No.
What's the red line of this engine?
It's 7,500.
7,500?
It really comes alive after 5.
Oh my, so where do you do that? How do you get this engine after 5?
You just gotta be out of your mind.
You gotta be on it straight. Let's slow down a little bit. I want to hear second. Let's do that. Let's hear what second does. Get past 5,000. I want the audience to know. Can we do that?
Let's probably do it in first. Because second,
all right, let's
90
go first.
We're gonna be doing 90.
Oh yeah, you don't want to do 90 and going off the cliff.
Yeah, it's
These seatbelts aren't like before where we had the Sparco.
Yeah, it's over.
We got. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's a little bit of a straight. All right, let's hear this thing. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna start off in first. Here we go. Oh my God. Oh, that's the Diablo part of it.
It's so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
Now, God, I just want to listen. You know what I mean? I want you guys to listen too. I'm sorry I'm doing all the talking. Just, you got to understand. You understand the magnitude of this car? Now, this is every childhood's dream. And you can see why. It was so outrageous when it came out. Ferruccio's vision of this car, I mean, he came out with a Countach, which was already like right out of Star Wars.
The Countach made the supercar, right?
Right.
It's literally the supercar was born with the Countach. And when the Diablo came out, I remember people were so excited about it. Everybody was, and it doesn't disappoint.
What did Ferrari have at that time? The 550? 1991. What do they have?
No, you know, they had they were, in 92, they just came up with the 512 TR, so it was the Testarossa at the time.
So when this came out, just took all the limelight away. Just destroyed Ferrari.
Now they had the F40, and they would compare this car to the F40 all the time.
Okay, that's right.
And I think this had a little bit higher top speed than the F40.
The F40 was a V12 twin turbo?
No, it's a V8 twin turbo.
Right out of the 288 GTO, right? Oh, they had the 288 GTO.
They had the 288, yeah, so it was after the 288. So it was the 348 engine, that was twin turbo.
But this car continued the scissor doors like the Countach. It was completely outrageous. And I gotta say, it probably gave permission for the rest of the car companies to come out with supercars, right? Because like, oh wow, they did it. We actually can come out with supercar too.
Well,
it's accepted.
I think they broke the mold too, where the imagination, right? Now you're like, okay,
anything's possible.
Yeah, if they did this, what can we do?
Yeah, anytime I see this car, I realize that this car shouldn't have been made. So, you know, it's interesting right now, we're in 2021. This car is 30 years old again. And the value, for some reason, cars are starting to really take off, right? You see everything at the bottom of the curve, all the collectibles. For some reason, these Diablos are still, you know,
I
150.
I would say 150 is probably the bottom at this
Unless
point.
it's a higher mileage one.
Yeah, unless something's wrong. But I mean,
roadsters are above. They're over 200, right? VTs are 170.
Right, and then there's, you know, the 6.0s and all that, where in the SVs that just
they're starting to really take off, right?
Should be, you know.
Yeah.
It's a weird time.
The SV is floating around 210, 200.
It's a weird time, man. It's a weird time for Diablos, but just like the Countach, I mean, the Countach was 50 grand at one point.
Right.
You
now
know?
they're 380, 400.
Yeah,
50.
on the average, of course, depending on the year and all that, but those cars are going to skyrocket for sure.
But Miura's hit $1 million. There's no reason why Countach's should be at $1 million already.
No,
Diablo's got to be right behind.
Yeah, I mean, the Miura, right, is obviously gorgeous and amazing in its own right. But gorgeous. The Countach is so iconic. The Diablo's so iconic. I mean, and while we're at it, the Testarossa is another iconic car that is going for nothing right now. I think they're around 100 grand.
They're just starting to take off. They were 90, now they're like 120, and they're now on the radar.
It's a ridiculous deal.
It's a ridiculous deal.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, if you're seeking massive thrill and an exotic, and you know how to drive, and you're not afraid of like maintenance here and there, you know what I mean? You're not going to freak out when you need a brake chain.
Yeah, you got to know what you're getting into.
This is probably one of the best investments at the moment.
For sure, without a doubt. All these V12 manual cars are, come on, you know. How can you miss?
How can you miss? Like a manual 575 is rare, right?
Yes,
because those are 250,
right? Yeah, right? And up, I guess.
Why are these not 250 now?
It makes no sense.
All right, let's listen to that. What's quirky about driving the car?
You know, on the early cars, it was the brakes, the no power steering, and the hard clutch, which we fixed a lot of that on this car. Again, the power steering, you can consider that a plus or minus. I love it, having no power steering as you're really going forward and feeling the car.
Right. I'm pretty sure the McLaren F1 had no power steering. I read that article there.
Oh yeah,
they pride themselves about a real car.
Yeah.
You know.
And look,
the original one. You know.
Yeah. Now the other quirks are the transmission is like everything about this car is pretty masculine and pretty man. Like it's all testosterone. You got to shift and you can't pretend. You have to shift.
You got to pay attention.
You have to follow through in that gated shifter. But the satisfaction you get from doing it is it's so fulfilling. It's all you need.
It's weird. I'm that passenger and I don't necessarily feel like I need to drive. I'm just freaked out about it just being in the seat. Okay, so you can charge admission for this ride, you know. This is worth like at least a couple $100. Just want to say, just being a passenger for a couple of minutes.
I think you're right.
Now, is the transmission? Let's break this down. Let's talk about the transmission, the drivetrain.
Yeah.
Is it a reliable transmission?
It is pretty reliable. You know, the clutch is, I would say, a small clutch.
Okay.
For such a big car, big tires, and the whole thing. So peeling out is not a great idea. You can lose the rear end, but for different reasons.
Sure.
You know, but if
I would see cars in your shop a clutch every 3,000 miles, thinking, what the hell? But is that just because they're slipping going backwards? Or?
Yeah, if you're going to ride the clutch in this car, it is not forgiving. It's going to be over.
So don't be in traffic.
Don't be in traffic up a hill. Go get a drink, relax, wait for it to pass, man. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. That makes sense. And the engine is reliable. I mean, I've actually heard. I mean, this car was on Jay Leno, and I remember you guys talking about Jay Leno's garage.
Yes.
That the engine was fairly bulletproof.
It's been a similar design all the way since the 350 GT, right? So it's that dual overhead cam V12.
Chain or belt?
Chain.
Chain
They've never went belt. It's always been chain. So they've always sort of like Porsche with the 911s. They just push the same technology for every model. And so I think they've really figured out all the quirks, and it's a very reliable engine. The only thing is with the later models, they have variable valve timing, so they got a little more drivable, a little easier low end. But
did that lose a little reliability?
no, not at all.
Okay. They're easier to work on. I do remember you working on a VT or a Roadster where there was
the Roadster's tight. The Roadster can be tight.
Okay, to get to access.
But compared to modern cars like a Bentley with the
the W12.
Yeah, compared to getting into that,
you're gonna throw that car away.
It's a ton of space, I would say, compared to anything that modern. So it's pretty well designed and well thought out. Like, as difficult as the Countach was to work on, they really worked out all those quirks when they put this car together.
And the suspension, I do remember your dad talking about the seals of the shocks. The shocks are tricky. They're expensive, right?
No,
they're not like off-the-shelf Coney's, right?
No, the later cars that have the front lift, and I think the Diablos were the first cars that have the front lift in '96.
Wow.
Which is killer, and I love it, but they tend to leak if you leave them up. They're under such tremendous pressure that you always want to put them down after you're done using them. So,
are those a costly repair?
They're pretty expensive.
Okay.
It's a pretty expensive repair, so it's easy to do. It's easy to take the shocks off, but the shocks themselves, I mean, brand new, I don't know, $4 or $5 grand or something like that.
Okay, so it's reliable, but when something goes, it's a $5,000 ordeal.
Well, and it's rare, but you can rebuild them, and that's a lot cheaper. But here's the thing: I always tell people, $5 grand a year for pretty much any exotic.
$5 grand a year. Put aside $5 grand a year.
You got to think about that.
Oh, it's funny. In appreciation, you'll probably get that back.
That's what I'm saying.
Because this car could 10, 20, all of a sudden blow. It's not linear, right? It's all of a sudden, oh wow, bring a trailer just sold for $30,000 more than the previous listing.
Yeah,
that's how it seems to work.
And I got to say, you're going to spend that money in maintenance, but you're also going to get it back, and that you're not going to lose the depreciation. You're not going to have, it's not like buying a 7 Series or a CL63 or something like that where, you spend 120 grand on a car.
A friend of mine has a 2017 Maserati GT Gran Turismo something special with carbon hood and everything. And the car was like, I don't know, 150 grand or 60. Right now, he can't sell it for $55,000 and only has 12,000 miles. So I did the calculations and I was like, wow, this depreciated $100,000 and only has 12,000 miles. That cost him $8 a mile.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
It's crazy.
So if you drive 1,000 miles in this car, you're not going to rack up $8,000 worth of charges, right?
No, not at all.
And you're not going to drop $100,000 in value, right?
Look, you know how it is. If you get it, it all depends when you get on the market. And right now, because the market is down, you could be making money. And so then you just have to consider the maintenance as part of any type of ownership, part of the pleasure of it. Don't be cheap. You'll pay for that. I would say when you're looking for a car too, try to buy the best car you can get.
This car might be coming up for sale in the future. Like, this would probably be a prize. It's been on Leno's. He loved this car. I'm not giving you pressure to sell it, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. You never know.
You never know. But this features a wider track. You got the 6-pot Move It 6-piston calipers.
Yeah. We put it with 15-inch rotors. We put massive brakes on this car.
2-piece rotors, right? Like separate hat and rotor, I believe.
I don't remember if they are.
But they're a monster.
It's as big as we could fit inside the stock 18-inch wheels, which this had stock 17, but the 18-inch from the Roadster wheels.
From the Roadster wheels, which looks so good.
Right, and it's just like, we just fit it in there.
And the spacers helped you fit the rotors.
Yes.
And the calipers, but also that slightly wider track. Getting to the edge of the fender.
It makes the car look so good, right?
It should have been that way.
It gives it the stance that the beast stance that it should have,
right?
And so,
and then the tail that you don't have the original tail was kind of stumpy, right?
The original tail was a little taller and shorter, and then it
looked like they took it off something else, but this actually follows the line of the car better.
Yeah, this tail they started out on the SE in '94. They made this, and then now from then on they used the tail on all the cars in the.
And it's a killer looking tail.
It's so gorgeous, and it really completes the rear end. You can have the car without the tail, and it makes the car look a lot smaller and a lot more sportier, like a tiny car, which is not as big as people think. Right. The wing really makes it look huge. because the car's so thin and so wide, the wing just makes it look massive. It's not a big car at all. And when you take the wing off, you really notice
I noticed that. I noticed the car isn't, it looks wide and huge and massive, but it actually isn't.
No, you put it next to a modern 911 and it's maybe 6 inches longer.
Wow.
It's like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird. Wow. I thought this car was massive, and it's, oh, okay, it's not as...
Well, let me drive this.
Yes, yeah, you got to get into this.
See what all the hype is. Okay. I'm in this car.
All right, Paul, you ready? You ready to start the beast up?
Is there anything I should know? Am I going to die? Like this, first of all, the seatbelt's weird because I noticed like...
It is automatic seatbelts, yeah. And you do have a lap belt, by the way, from the bottom as well.
Oh! For that little extra security? Just in case?
Yeah.
Well, why not?
I mean,
I'm in Los Angeles Crest, right?
Don't know how much it's going to help, sure.
There's not much of a front on this car. If you ram a wall or a car, you're dead, right? There's,
you know,
did this pass crash standards? I don't think so.
I actually think it does because it is a handmade frame, so it is kind of a roll cage.
Oh.
When you look at it that way. And only the Roadsters have I ever heard of people dying in an accident. Because they, you know, obviously you break up the structure of it.
That makes sense.
So it's kind of relatively safe. I wouldn't hit a semi. That would probably be bad. But
yeah, don't do that.
It's not.
However, you could probably go under the semi, like all the movies.
Yeah, I would duck. All
right, so I'm a little intimidated. This is the beast. This is the raging bull. I see little raging bulls everywhere.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, the gears are so long that you gotta sort of figure out the ratios and figure out, see how the shifting is for you. It is a little different than something modern where you get those quick shifts.
Okay.
But other than that, man, you'll see.
Go for it.
I call it. I think it's a pleasure.
I'm 6'4". I actually fit. It's the steering wheel's slightly to the right, just a little bit right. It's a little offset. Am I crazy?
Yeah.
It's just a little bit.
It's they put you in a little bit offset position, but it's not too bad.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Yeah. Whoa.
Definitely never think the car is accidentally off.
Whoa. God, it sounds so good, Damian. All right, I'm gonna go a little up because I want to wind out first gear. Now, it's not, the rear end's not gonna come out, right? It's not like a Viper where Vipers are out of control.
No, it's not trying to kill you at all.
Okay, but does it have traction control?
No, zero traction control, so there's that.
This is a real man's car.
Yeah, so you could lose it on first, but these have the Michelin, the Pilot Sports on there, which are really grippy.
Okay.
So I think you should be fine. I mean, you really gotta do something. You gotta be stupid. You gotta want to do it. You know?
So I'm gonna gun it, sort of.
Yeah, just get a feel for it.
Oh, it's got that power band around 4,500.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It kind of explodes at about 5,000.
Oh yeah, I feel that. Wow.
And it really, you hear it too.
I missed the gate. Oh, there we go. So it's a little tricky, that gate, right? It's like a little narrow pathway.
Yeah, you gotta...
Don't go to the left, don't go to the right, just straight down. Here we go. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Don't want to miss it. Wow.
Yeah. It's 100 comes quicker in this car than you think.
What was I doing? I don't even know. I can't pay attention.
You can't pay attention. I think it was about 90, 95.
90? Okay. Yeah, that's the thing is the steering wheel.
So a little tip on this one. You want to, when you're coming down the third, just go a little bit to the right.
Ah, I see that little.
Yeah, so when you kind of,
there's like these little things.
You go a little bit to the right, it gets you perfect.
Gates gets a little stuck, the teeth are a little gnarly, it's getting a little hot in here, but if we had the windows down, nobody would be hearing anything.
No, it's so loud.
I can see I'm in third gear.
Third gear.
I'll never get out, I'll never go into fourth.
No, you wind out third gear, we're dead, probably.
Yeah, right, because up or down, I need to slow down going down.
Yeah.
Going up, fourth gear is 100 million miles an hour.
Yeah, well...
So what's fifth? The fifth is just so we can talk? Oh,
yeah.
It's coasting.
Fifth is cruising.
There we go, we're getting fourth.
Yeah.
Let's not take out a bunch of bikers. Let's get back into...
It's got long gears, you know?
Let's get back into second here. Okay, right now, I'm in second. We're at 2100 RPM. We're doing about 30. Okay, that's kind of quick. And then all of a sudden... Wow!
God.
Okay, yeah, I hit 3 digits there. So we don't want to do that too often here. Because we did see a car being towed away
just today.
Just today,
yeah.
Probably by...
it was an M3, right?
It was an M3.
So that's probably 280, 300 horsepower. It was a 90s.
It was a 90s M3, yeah, 280 horsepower. He's probably doing donuts up there, you know, where that famous lookout is. So, you know, I guess, you know, they're going to tow you away.
Look, what cracks me up about this car is the massive oh shit handle right here.
Yeah.
So that's got to tell you something. When they're like,
right.
Yeah, you're going to need 2 hands.
You're right, good point.
Yeah.
Now, this car's going to be so fast and so crazy. We call it Diablo. What are we going to do for the passenger?
Yeah. 2 handles, 2 hands.
1 giant handlebar.
And diapers, I'm sure.
Yeah, diapers. I love how the doors go down and the glass goes down because, first of all, it's all windshield.
It gives you great visibility, which is something people don't realize when you get in this car.
Yeah, when you think exotics, you think of no visibility.
Yeah, it's got great visibility out of the corner, so you can kind of see the road.
Yeah, and you know what? I can see behind me, even with the tail. What is everybody talking about? It's great.
It's
a little framed.
Yeah,
tail.
Look, you have to drive a Countach, and then this car's a miracle.
Yeah. Right.
And you're like, oh, I can see. I've got windows. I've got.
We all got to remember that. We all got to remember that. It came from the Countach. So the Countach was so angular and radical, and you know, I saw your Countach. You know, it's a hodgepodge of fiberglass and aluminum and glue and the roll. You know, it's got the tubular frame.
Yeah.
But it does look like a kit car. Don't get mad at me.
Yeah. No, I get it. You have to remember that's right. Early 70s, right? That car was being put together.
Right.
So that's and they were really hitting unknown territory. But like the Diablo, they figured it out and they got it all right. To me, they got it all right.
They really did. You know, now that I'm over like, holy shit, this is a Diablo and it's radical and it's loud as hell and the shifting is hard for a second there because the teeth are so narrow. But now I got a rhythm.
And you gotta get the RPMs up, right? It shifts better at the high RPMs. It's made to be.
I'm not thinking it doesn't have power steering. I'm thinking it's perfect.
Yeah, it feels great, right? It really communicates.
Now the new cars are all drive-by-wire, steering-by-wire. I rented this Touareg or whatever Atlas, and it was on the freeway. Like the steering was fighting me in a fake way, like. I was tramlining or whatever they call it with the lines.
Oh yeah, so
and it wasn't like in real time. Like, wait a minute, this is steering by wire, lame. And then even the Quadrifoglio, those brakes were like off or on, phenomenal brakes, but the feel is literally the rubber sponge. Do you know that?
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
That's disgusting. You know what I mean? Like, I know what is happening on the road with this car is giving me immediate feedback.
Yeah, you know, and
I feel more in control.
Even though the brakes aren't the best, it has a very linear feel to them, and you kind of know when you're going to lock them.
Yeah, now nobody's behind me. I want to feel that. What, Jay Leno again? What is up with Jay? We're going to get him. Jay Leno just passed us in a Carrera GT, and we're off to chase him, right?
Yes.
Okay, and I just jumped in this Diablo, and it's so comfortable and easy to drive, which just sounds absurd, right? Because probably not many people say that. All right, look at this beautiful road. Oh, what a beautiful day. Where's Jay Leno? Okay, Tesla. Boring! Boring! Oh my God. All right, thank you. That was beautiful. All right, now we're gonna turn the cameras on Jay.
Or turn them on.
Yeah. You know this car.
Yeah, I do know this car. From Francos, right? Yes. Yes.
Good. So cool. We met before at your garage long time ago, but really good friends with
Never seen one.
Franco and Damian, car enthusiasts.
Yeah, what is this, 91, 92?
91, it's still Damian's.
Oh, this is still yours.
Yeah. Carbon ceramics back then.
That had to be one of the first.
Awesome.
Yeah, knockoff. Okay. It's legit.
Yeah, you got knockoffs, you're winning. You know what I mean? Like, that's all you need to say. My car has knockoffs from the factory.
How far they come and 617 horsepower at the end of the world in 2004.
Yeah.
Now you're not even in the club.
Yeah.
Now 911s have 7.
I know, it's crazy.
There's so much horsepower in so many cars, it's hard to believe anymore.
Listen to what man is.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks again, Jay. So we're in Los Angeles Crest, and it was so cool. We see Jay Leno pass us in a Porsche GT.
Come on.
Which I forgot how crazy that car was.
Did you see the carbon fiber in the suspension?
Oh my God.
Inbound shocks.
And he said 17 years old. Like, the car was way ahead of its time. Now that car, I think, is $1 million now. For whatever reason, they were forgotten. And then, bam, that's the asset to have for sure. But now seeing him, seeing it up close, seeing how much he loves it, gotta get one of those. Well, this has been a phenomenal day, Damian.
Yes.
Thank you so much. To many more.
Yeah, to many more, man. This
Many
is
more.
amazing.
Listen to that. Drink candy. I can't believe we got Jay Leno in the shot. Like, now those were cuts, I don't feel so bad.